Last time I was in the Youth Academy Challenge Save, we had gotten to our youth intake. These are the players I signed onto contracts, and we've now gotten to the end of the season. So, how did we finish off the season? And I've got a very important question to ask at the end of the video. Let's see how we did, first and foremost. The first game we had after the youth intake was a 5-0 victory against Kvitsia, and it was a very, very simple game from our point of view. A nice win, we were 4 up at half time, and it was just a perfect result as far as we're concerned. Then, much to my shock and potentially horror, the unbeaten season was done and dusted. We managed to lose to Mies. Literally 2 games after I pretty much bragged about how if we got to the cup final, we would have the easy game because both teams should be beatable. And yet we lose because my goalkeeper had an absolute clanger of a 6.1 rating. I took him off when Mario comes on, and we still lose 2-1, and our unbeaten season is no more. It is a very disappointing situation. I thought we could do better than this, but no, we couldn't. And I was hoping to at least get the unbeaten season, having lost in the Champions League round of 16, but I can't even have that. What a shame. At least we made it up in the next game in the Pucharski semi-final, beating Legia Warsaw by a goal to 0. A good result. They had no shots on goal. It was complete and utter domination, and we probably should have scored at least a second goal. Then we hosted Wisla Krakow and could only draw 0-0 despite having plenty of shots. The shots were not very good, and potentially we should be happy with this because we weren't at our finest today. We then went to Legia Warsaw in the league and beat them 3-0 at their ground. Davidovich with a brace to his name, and we were just comfortable. It was a very nice victory to get to our collection, and I'm thinking to myself, it is a good season so far. Let's do more of this, please, and thank you. We took on Redon in the next match and beat them by 2-0. It was a very nice victory and another game against one of our main rivals to beat them by such a convincing scoreline and to not let them have a single shot on target. It just makes me feel comfortable and happy inside. Then we took on Mies in the Pucharski final and beat them 2-0 to win our 5th cup final in a row. And we even gave a debut to Oli Jarka, and he came off the bench and scored. It was a bit fortuitous how it went in, but he had an XG of 1.3, so he clearly got himself in wonderful positions to at least get the second goal of the game, and to ensure that we were crowned cup champions once again. It was good to see him actually thriving, it really was. We then took on Katowice and could only draw 1-0. They had 2 shots on target and scored one of them. We had 4 shots on target and we could only score one of them ourselves. But we should have done better with our chances. We were quite good in this game. And perhaps we got cocky. I don't know, but it was a game that I feel like we should have won and we didn't take our chances. We then took on Lech Poznan and came from 1-0 down to win 2-1. And both of the goal scorers were the players that came from our youth intake last time out. I'm happy that they've got their goals and they both got first ever Ekstraklasa goals. It's just really good to see that young players I'm actually giving a chance because we've won the league at this point. I'm just happy that the players I'm giving an opportunity to, because we've effectively won the league already, are taking their chances with both hands and trying to make themselves heroes. I need more of this in the future, please. We then ended off the season with a 4-1 victory against Graphics Add-ons. We were 4 up at half time. And this is a team that was trying to chase us for the title for the longest times. Once upon a time, they didn't do that. They lost 4-1. We were comfortably the winners here. And with 4 different goal scorers, all in the first half, it was just a comfortable experience to say the least. And yes, we are the league champions. We won the league in the end by 14 points. It wasn't that comfortable. It only took us until the 36th game of the year to really confirm ourselves as champions. But once we did, Graphics Add-ons just fell off the cliff in terms of their performances in the league. And they probably will be thinking, what on earth are we doing? How do we not do better? But I'm not complaining because we completely obliterated the league effectively. And at the defeat against Mies, was more annoying than I'd like to admit, because we should have done better. We should not have lost the game. Davidovic didn't even play the last game, but yet was the top goal scorer. Kimmich, who was pretty much my substitute and backup striker this year, ended up getting the highest average rating overall. And if I look at the stats here, we actually had 3 players with 10 plus goals and another player with 8 plus goals as well. So we were not shy of good goal scorers this year. In fact, look at Kimmich's appearances. He only started 7 times and made 11 substitute appearances, and he still got 14 goals. That's how good he was for us as a substitute player, and I'm delighted with the impact he was able to make. I'm just hoping he can do better in the future. But you look at the fact that we've got middle-aged players now. It's interesting we got to that point with our current squad that we're starting to need to sell players to do well and to make room for the newer generation to come through the system. So, you're probably wondering, why have I come to Simon Smolek's page as I talk about the next generation coming through? I'm selling him, and I somehow managed to convince West Ham United to give me £17.25 million up front for his services. West Ham are second in the Championship. West Ham just got promoted to the Premier League from the Championship. They're only the 6th best team, and they're already splashing the cash. Now, admittedly, I didn't think I can get that much money from West Ham, but here we are. We're getting that kind of money from West Ham United, and it's a bit of a shock to me. But again, West Ham just have more money than sense, it feels like. And with a season budget of £62.25 million, the fact that we're willing to spend £17.25 million on that to take Simon Smollett from us is a bit of a shock to me, and I don't know why they're doing it. But yeah, it felt like a no-brainer to sell Smollett for £17.25 million. I promised I'd sell him if I got £26.5 million for him, but I didn't think I'd actually get £17.25 million for his services. And it wasn't even just West Ham. Marseille and Valencia offered that money too. So it wasn't even as if it was just a one-off deal. I had 3 different teams offer that kind of money for this player. Ridiculous when you think about it, isn't it? I'm starting to think it's reputation that's causing that sort of money to come through. But also his guide price was between £15.5 and £17.5 million. No idea why, but it was the case. So I've got to talk about this because this actually will relate to a question I have at the end of the video. But we have been given our budgets, wage budget of £2.4 million per week, and a transfer budget of £116 million. This will be important for the question I have at the end of the video. I forgot to save at the point where the Season Review came in, so we're not going to go through that because we don't have that right now. What I am going to do is go over the supporter profile update, and I'm going to show you that we've now got 6.9 million followers on social media, up by 1.3 million. And we've now got more core fans than we do family. So that's interesting to me. Why they want me to attempt to avoid relegation for next class when we won the league for the last 7 years, still, I don't know. That feels like a bug at this point. The board, unsurprisingly, want us to win the league and the cup. They do want me to be competitive in the Champions League, which is slightly concerning, but I think we can work with that. But there's also things to talk about, and that is this. We have decided to expand our stadium to its maximum capacity and to pay £21 million to add another 11,598 seats. Unfortunately, this will take 15 months to complete, and we have moved into a new stadium as a result. The stadium is this, and it's kind of small. It's not exactly amazing. It's a very small stadium compared to our current stadium, and I don't know why we've gone to the stadium, if I'm honest with you. I would have thought we'd be able to get a bigger stadium and another location, but apparently we can't, which is a bit embarrassing to say the least. Also, we've had to convince the board to upgrade the facilities again, and Novak wants to move, and I've actually made a promise to him, telling him I'm willing to sell him if we get £34 million for him. Now, admittedly, he's wanted by Everton, so I could probably get that, because Premier League money is stupid, but I could get potentially a guy price of 19 to 21 million. I'm going to try and get more than that if I'm going to be honest with you. So if I can get more than that, I will try it. Though I don't expect Everton to actually give me the money I want. But Novak wants to leave because he wants a new challenge. I'm willing to give him that new challenge because he's got the most ever appearances for the club. And I was kind of rotating him last year with Romario because, well, Novak has some bad games and then Romario has a bad game. So both players had bad games. As soon as one player had a bad game, I swapped out the goalkeepers and that's what happened. And admittedly, I don't think it's a big comparison. I know that Romario is not as good as Novak, but I feel like Romario is a player that I can definitely work with and see what we can do. And also Novak's now 31. I should look to move him on just to allow the next generation to come through and do better. But I also need to give this guy some first team football because even though he's 6 foot, he looks really, really good for 18. He could be my first team plans and not look at our place next year. So Novak could be on his way out, but we might not have to worry about getting a new replacement. I wanted to go over this because I wanted to see who went up in the end of the season. Lekia Dines go back up after 2 years in this division, much as I discussed. Visa Lords have gone up as well. Brookbet and Leticia are also up for the playoffs. So 3 teams you'd expect to be up in the top tier are now back in the top tier again. The Europa Conference League has been won by Crystal Palace. They won the Europa League 5 years ago and won the Super Cup 5 years ago, but they beat Udinese this year to win the Europa Super Cup. But Crystal Palace this year have beaten Udinese in the Europa Conference League final to win their first crown in this level. In the Europa League, Chelsea won in extra time, beating Stuttgart by a 1-0 to win the Europa League again, and it's the second time in 4 years they've won it now. While in the Champions League, Borussia Dortmund have won the Champions League for the second time in 3 years, beating Real Betis 2-0 in the final, so another victory to their collection. As we look at the coefficients for this year, we didn't have a very good year, 7.4 average rating here. I feel like we should have done better, and potentially what we need to do better is to potentially change the way I do things, because I might be looking at this being my last ever year of this save. So we have got £220 million in the bank. We've got a transfer budget of £133.3 million and a wage budget of £2.4 million. Smolarek has officially agreed to sign for West Ham. He's actually got the work permit now. We also got £11.75 million in the coefficients, raking pool money for the Champions League. So there's that. But the club vision's interesting. They want me to spend the original transfer budget. That's the current board. So I'm proposing this idea. We've got one of 3 options here. I'm giving you a choice. I'm going to put this in a community poll as well. So bear with me here. Option number 1, we end the save now. We've won 11 league titles in a row. We've won the League Cup and Super Cup treble for 5 years running. We've won 30 trophies. And I don't know how much more we can really do, but we got a new stadium coming in 2 years' time. Option number 2, we continue to save and we keep it as the Youth Academy Challenge format. And we go for 1 more season. Option number 3, we try to adhere to this objective to spend the original transfer budget. So we spend £100+ million on new signings. It'll completely break the team. It'll completely destroy any semblance of what we have with the team right now, but we'll spend the money we have currently in our budget. We can transfer the money from our wages to our transfer budget, so he'll make about £200 million to have at our disposal, and we're only spending £304,000 a week on wages, so we could literally just transfer a lot of money over and it wouldn't hurt us long term. Option number 4, if a big team comes in for us, we go to the interview, and if they want to take us on as the manager, we leave. I'm going to end this here on that question, on those notes. What do you want me to do for the next video if we decide that this is not the last one? Do we end the series here now? Do we do one of the other 3 options? I want to hear your thoughts and opinions on that down below. I hope you guys have enjoyed yourselves. I hope you guys will like and share this video and that you subscribe to the channel. It really does help me out a lot. But anyway, until next time, goodbye and well, good night.